I'm Matt Martin, Senior Creative Executive for Lucasfilm.
I'm Anisha Deshmani. I'm a Senior Creative Producer with Walt Disney Imagineering.
Excellent, and I hear there have been a ton of changes recently at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and the Disneyland Resort. So let's just start with the timeline shift.
Sure, so yeah, we have updated the timeline of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge to be a little bit closer to the original trilogy and kind of Mando era, which really helps align with both the new film that's coming out this week, as well as the 50th anniversary of Star Wars next year. So we're bringing in new classic characters, Darth Vader, Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, and Princess Leia. And we've updated some of the stores. So Doc Ondar's got a lot of really cool new props from some of the kind of latest TV shows and films, so screen used props. We've added a new store, which is Black Spire Surplus, over next to the TIE Echelon. There's really cool props in there too.
Did it replace something?
It did. It replaced First Order Cargo.
Okay.
And of course we've got Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run, which is now has a new mission featuring Mandalorian Grogu.
Yeah, I think one of the great things is that we've been able to explore sort of what Batuu and what Black Spire Outpost looked like 30 years prior to what people have experienced so far. So what was Doc Ondar's collection like back in the day? What was happening on Black Spire Outpost before the First Order and the Resistance arrived? And so there's a lot of really great additional storytelling that's kind of gone into the land to introduce, military surplus stores that are selling things from all sides of conflicts from all eras. The opportunity to introduce the Mandalorian and Grogu into Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run dovetails really nicely into that because it's kind of a time where the galaxy is changing, right? The Empire is falling and the New Republic is rising, and so we're trying to, everyone's trying to find their footing again. So it's a really cool storytelling opportunity for us. And we're also, I'm still excited that you can still experience the sequel era over at Rise of the Resistance and with the Resistance characters in the forest.
So yeah, is there kind of a clear delineation in the land as far as like where certain characters can explore?
I think the easiest way to look at it is kind of the marketplace through the First Order, or where the First Order area, now the TIE Echelon. That area is sort of the more classic era. Everything from kind of the Resistance camp on, and forest on, would be more sequel era. So you might still run into Rey over there, for example.
Okay, let's talk about Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run for a second. And, we have all had experience with Star Tours and kind of the different missions through the years. And when a new one comes out, they'll play that one primarily. But, is the plan, will we see the original Smugglers Run video ever again? Or is this going to be like OG Star Tours where it's been retired?
We have, at this point, retired the original mission starting on Friday. We will have retired the original mission because this new one again is in the new timeline of Galaxy's Edge, right? So we're still in the Mandoverse. We're sort of in that time period where Mando is an active bounty hunter. In this new mission, Hondo has made a deal with the New Republic to track down some Imperial baddies who are doing a cargo deal on Tatooine. He's given up the coordinates of this particular deal in exchange for any of the cargo he collects along the way because Hondo cares only about credits. But the New Republic sort of invited Mandalorian along to sort of be the enforcer, so it was our opportunity to get to go on a bounty hunting mission with the Mandalorian and Grogu, which is really exciting. There's lots of folks who are really excited about those two characters in particular. And so there's a lot of great opportunities for us to be able to expand what the mission feels like. We've also done a lot from a technology standpoint to upgrade the graphics and everything on the mission, so it looks really, really amazing. There's lots of cool dynamic environments that didn't exist in the first mission. So we're all really jazzed that there's going to be a lot of newness for Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run.
And that means the pre-show had to be redone as well, it sounds like, yeah?
Yeah, Hondo's still he's running his completely legitimate shipping business. He still has to move cargo around the galaxy, and he's still looking for flight crews. So on the whole, the premise of the attraction hasn't changed. It's just sort of a new mission that he's going to send his flight crews on.
Very cool. And obviously this is something fans have been asking for, seeing some of the classic characters in the land. But was it Imagineering or Lucasfilm that kind of pushed for this change? I'm sure it was a collaboration, but when you get that note, hey, we're going to make this change, we're going to give fans what they want, really how do you attack that? Because I'm sure it's like a domino effect.
Yeah,
cyclical.
Yeah,
it's more cyclical than dominoes.
Yeah. Like dominoes in a circle. But no, I think everybody on kind of both sides of the line were really interested in continuing to update Galaxy's Edge. And like I said, it's the 50th anniversary of Star Wars, so it was kind of the most natural time to bring in these new characters and kind of, rethink the timeline for now of, what will be most relevant to people now, and what are people hoping to experience. The Mandalorian Grogu comes out, like I said, this week. 50th is next year. It's just, if there was ever a time to bring in that sort of kind of classic era, now was it.
And Galaxy's Edge has always, since its opening, and pre-opening, has always been a place that has existed in the galaxy for generations before and beyond where we currently are. So it's always kind of been intended that it updates over time and has new stories that are getting told, new characters that get introduced, new missions you can go on. So it'll hopefully continue getting updated as we continue forward at Black Spire Outpost.
Awesome. Can you talk a little bit about adding the John Williams score to the land? Because that's one of the things I'm most excited about. But obviously you have a plethora of music to choose from. So how do you go about that?
Yeah, our music team is amazing. We were working with Bill Ross, our composer, to try and find the right pieces of music, needle drops that people will recognize, but also, evoke a lot of emotion. We really wanted to make sure that you felt that nostalgia as you were walking through the land. As you turn the corner to see the Millennium Falcon, you've got those classic pieces of music that you recognize from the films and from our television shows that will, pluck at your heartstrings. We did want to make sure that it didn't feel really overwhelming too, so we worked really hard to make sure that it felt delicate and lightweight, but also still felt like the land was lived in. So you're still going to hear the ships flying through, you still hear the creatures off in the wilderness, and things like that, because Batuu is a real place. It's a place that people live in, people operate shops and restaurants and things like that. So we want you to still feel like you're immersed in a real place while also still feeling that Star Wars nostalgia.
Yeah, it was a really thoughtful approach to how that was done. It's not just, they took tracks from the soundtrack and pressed play. They, really rethought it, rearranged things, and really made it fit the space so it adds to your experience and doesn't kind of distract from it.
And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think John Williams composed a new piece when the land opened. Is that
That's correct?
Yeah.
Has that been worked into the land's music at all?
It's not currently the new version of the land music is all classic John Williams score. So we're still using the new music that was created for the land in a couple of specific places, but overall it's a new score.
Cool. And let's wrap things up with the nighttime spectaculars that we get in Galaxy's Edge. I believe there's a new piece being added for Grogu.
Yeah, Shadows of Memory is a really great addition to your Disney day, especially if you're a Star Wars fan. Being able to come and experience that projection show at night, plus this new offering of being able to see Grogu. Grogu's mischievous. He messes around with a lot of stuff, so one of my favorite parts of this new add-on to Shadows of Memory is that you get to see a lot of classic pieces of Grogu's adventures with the Mandalorian, but from his perspective. He's lifting up a bunch of pieces of debris and cargo and things like that, and reimagining what those memories are like as he's gone on his adventures. There's some really great pieces that are tying into the new film as well, but also things that people will recognize from the television show. The Mudhorn is really cool in particular.
The Anzellans.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is there anything you'd like to add or anything that I missed that you feel is important?
Ooh.
I would say one of the things on Smugglers Run, there's a lot of newness on the attraction for engineers, pilots, and gunners to do. Our engineers are going to get the opportunity to pick the destination of the planets that you get to go to, so there's a lot of agency that our engineers are going to have. But also, we've expanded where you can fly a lot. There's a lot of different places to explore. There's a lot more re-rideability on the attraction as well. So we really recommend going on it multiple times, not just to experience the different planets and the different seats, but also to try a different path that you haven't tried before. There's just it's a bigger world. There's a lot more to explore.
Yeah, so remember where you went. That way you can go the other way next time.
Yeah.
We need passports to check this out. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thanks.